I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes from May 1st, at which I was not here, so I don't have that much to contribute to it.
Yeah, I took a look at it. I didn't see anything. Betty, did you know anything? It was accurate.
Yeah, I thought it was.
That was one that Greg ran, right?
Greg
Yeah.
ran it, yeah.
Yep,
It's fine.
Okay.
yep.
Uh,
So I motion to approve the May 1st, 2025 meeting minutes.
Yes, I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. We have a new rebate application for Mr. Rapalock.
I have that.
Yeah.
So I actually sent my preliminary document around to everybody.
Yeah, nice.
So the first thing I did was check, because in the past, we have had applicants check off that they have public water when they really have well water. So just to be sure, based on the address, I assumed it was correct, but I did
Right.
double check on that. So yes, so the applicant is on West Neck Water.
Yeah.
So the idea of having to put anything aside for relocation of the well is not going to be applicable in this case. The house is about 100 years old. I did check in with Shelter Island Sand and Gravel, because the applicant had checked off that it was a failing system, and according to them, it's a pretty visible situation. It's not draining. It was described as kind of swampy. So it really is like.
The kind that it
failing.
elicits action.
Correct. And so it's definitely a failing system. So it's very wise of Mr. Raffalo to do this now. It's going to be, in terms of nitrate reduction, 10.2 kilograms per year. There's 2 people living in the house full time. They're proposed to put in a SEN 5 Fuji system. I verified the address and ownership. What else? It's going to be basically treating about 58,400 gallons of effluent a year. And the return on your investment for 5 years, the cost per kilogram amounts to 2 cents a gallon. The home is from, the home is from 1925. It's obviously, like I indicated, it's a system failure. It's voluntary. They are not planning on doing any construction. They're aware of the stipulation. So the only reason why I wrote pending on my recommendation is I don't have the full diagrams. Oh, sorry, not I, but we don't have the full diagrams from Sherman Engineering. So in the application, they said he was still working on it. He sent like a crude, like a drawing with the survey.
He doesn't really need that.
That he has a letter of
Yeah,
intent.
but he has a letter that
right?
obviously Sherman's working on it. So, he
Right.
doesn't need the final red stamp or anything.
No, but like the actual plans, are you guys like fine with? Obviously it's going to be, it's a failure. It's a system failure.
Right.
And we know that Sherman's going to do it, obviously. Right. So I just want to say in the file, I didn't see that as still pending, right?
Meg has her hand up.
Yeah.
Meg,
I just received that from Matt the other day, so I'll send it to you so you have it
okay.
for the record.
So that answers my question. So other than that, I'm fine. So I would like to make a recommendation that we approve 21 Point for the SEN 5 based on the great return on investment and a much needed septic tank right now for him. Can I get a second? For 12,000, right? And again, we don't need to set aside any extra money
Right.
for the well.
No intention of putting a PSD in.
Not as far as I can see, unless Meg, you know otherwise. It's not on the application, so.
Meg,
PSD, Meg?
No
Right.
PSD.
Okay. Okay. So can I get a second on the 12,000 for Raffalo?
Second for 12,000 for Mr.
But
21 Stern.
So all in
Point
favor on that, I guess?
all in favor?
Road.
Aye.
All right, so we have request for payment. We have Arthur and Barbara Bloom, which to me looks pretty good. The only thing I'm thinking, that doesn't Suffolk County pay for that 350? Meg, do you know if Suffolk County pays the 350
For the
for their
water
fee?
test.
What, I don't know what the 350 is for.
I don't, Department of Health Services, I mean, there was an application fee, but I thought they waived them for
They
this.
do. The application fee is $750. So
Oh.
I don't know what the $350 is for.
I don't know what it is either, but
I didn't do her paperwork, so I'm not familiar with what she submitted.
How much is it for a well test?
$100.
$100 for them, yeah. Well, in any case, they still, you know, the out of pocket was 28,409.63. For some reason, there were no,
Well, she can't get the Suffolk County until she gets the subdivision approved, and then she can
That's why
resubmit.
she's waiting on, yeah.
Yeah,
right, but the fact that it's in, will she be able to get the Suffolk County? New York State she could get.
no, there was a letter, there was,
Once the system's in, Suffolk County wouldn't like reimburse.
It'll just be New York State.
Yep, that's what I thought.
oh, really?
All right, so it's 10,000, so then it's, all right, so they did all right. So there's no well or anything involved here, so it's, though it was approved back as 6,000, I think.
Right,
we do-
but it was amended, yeah.
We amended it to 12,000.
Right.
So it appears to me that this is good to go.
Yes.
She, motion, or?
I make a motion to the town for 12,000 reimbursement for the Bloom property on 69 North Manantee Road.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next is Waldbauer. The, on the, I guess it was just in the agenda, the addresses are mixed up.
Is that right?
Oh, no, Sewell and Glover is mixed up. That's what it is.
Oh, right, it should be the other way around.
Yeah, whatever. So Waldbauer, though they did have a well work, a whole new well put in, they didn't put it on here yet. They are, they did pay for it, but they didn't put it on this yellow sheet. And then receipts and everything are there, so they essentially, it's 18,757 that they're actually, you know, after the two rebates from the county and the state.
Which one did you send a second email on?
On Wednesday, that was her wells, that was her.
Yeah,
Right.
so
It
where,
just didn't get into the,
Yeah, we already had all of that when she sent this, so,
so is that already figured in here?
no.
no, so does, as she
So it
had,
didn't matter
It
really,
doesn't, yeah.
you know, it didn't matter. So, but she did do the well, so she gets
Right.
that money, so it's
16.
4,000.
16,000.
So she would get 16,000. So I would put it out there for a motion.
Yes, I'll make the motion that we should approve for 16,000 wall bearer on 6 Community Drive.
I second that emotion.
Any discussion? No?
No.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
So Mr. Sewell, 4 Robbins Lane, requested a reconsideration of his application that was done by Greg. It was rejected by this committee because there was work being done there. There was a twofold thing. There was extra bedrooms being added, and the amount of square footage that was added amounted to more than 25%. So for those reasons, the application was rejected for a Shelter Island grant. He says that, you know, it was very complicated and whatever, you know, whatever he did there. But, you know, I don't see that we can change our opinion. He's waiting. I don't know why he can't get a Suffolk County grant other than maybe it's, you know, he has to wait a long time for it. But I think he put this thing in already, so that's probably the reason. So he would get a New York State grant as far as I could see. So My opinion would be that we say we're sorry.
I don't think there's anything we can do, honestly.
No,
The code is
not
not
if he, in fact, did the work that added the bedrooms and stuff, no.
So it was a mandated thing.
I vaguely remember this one, so I don't think I stand by the release.
What, does he say anything as to why?
No, he just said it was very complicated and he didn't get the Suffolk County grant. So, I mean, I don't know if he didn't get the Suffolk County grant because he put the system in and then applied to them, or what? But
Meg, do
do
you
you
know?
know anything about Sewell on 4 Robin Lane?
No, I have no knowledge of this one.
Okay. Well, that would be the reason. I mean, normally well, the money might take a while to get, the application might be a while, but probably if they were on a construction schedule, they probably had to get the thing in there. So he probably couldn't wait for the county. So,
Where's that location for, Robin?
4 Robin Lane.
Yeah, it's switched on the agenda, the addresses are much higher.
Right, it's not Winthrop. Mr. Glover is Winthrop.
It looks like the house was built in 1986, so it probably does not have a failing system, which is probably putting them in a long hold. So he probably installed the system because he didn't want to wait for the grant.
Right, because he had to install a system to do his construction.
Yeah.
So. I'll email him and just say that we can't do anything about that. Mr. Glover, who applied in March of 2023. Would you like to,
23.
23, right?
Yeah. I knew it took a while for stuff to go through. And recently I got a letter from the county asking where things are. Is my system failing? And I thought I would come in and find out what's going on here. And I was told, oh, your application is waiting for more information.
And the information that it was waiting for was you had applied for an income incentive, I think.
True, and
And,
I submitted my tax returns to the
Mr.
town attorney, plus
Hiley.
an affidavit saying that my next year's tax returns would be substantially the same.
Well-
And apparently he left under a cloud of some description, I'm not sure what, but
I don't know if you left on a cloud or a car, but he's gone.
I was told he was gone, and no one seems to know what happened to that piece of information that was holding up my application. So somewhere in this building, my application got held up and fell through the cracks somehow. And apparently now the rules have changed about tax returns. So I'm kind of stuck.
Right. So, but back then, you've actually done better.
That'd be
Because,
great, except I've lost 2 years, and I understand there's a moratorium on permits, 3 years, so
no, not so much for this. If you're putting a dock in, maybe I would have, but,
no, I've got a dock already. But I understand if we get the full grant, we can't get a building permit for
you can't do anything for 3 years.
3 years, yeah, so now that's 5 years. I'm hoping that there's some kind of time served.
Now, do you need to, do anything with your well?
I'd like to put in a new well, it's a shallow well now.
Has the health department mandated it?
No.
All right, well then,
They came and inspected the water, tested the water and said we had a bunch of problems, not too bad, drinkable according to them. But basically the main thing was the pH level, eating away the pipes.
I'm gonna, all of Shelter Island.
And my lot, 2 years has gone by, we have severe brown tide right off the dock there. And all of the seagrass that's growing around the edge is carving off. I guess from nutrients and falling in and all the mussels died. So there's something definitely going on there. And that's why I originally applied, because it seemed kind of urgent. And is my septic system failing? There's a dip in the lawn. It's never been dug up. I don't know how old it is.
Well, you've been there for quite a while,
Never had
so,
it pumped.
so it's probably pumping itself into the creek. Unfortunately. So anyway,
I heard the earlier thing about the ground appearing swampy. Am I supposed to go out there and run a hose on it and and invite
we'll
you?
go
guys?
walk
I
on it.
advise you to do that.
We don't want you to disappear. What we can do for you is give you the base grant of $12,000
Okay.
to go ahead with your plan.
Now, how does that work with the county and the state?
The county and the state come first, and then whatever expenses you have beyond that, bona fide expenses that, dealing with it, we would pay for the engineer, we would pay for uncovered expenses for Shelter Island Sand and Gravel, if that's the contractor.
Well, move,
If you had to move your well, if you
Well,
had to move your well, if it was mandated to move your well.
It can't just be that you want to put in, it has to be,
Yeah, health department has to tell you that.
Unless I pay for it.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, but, sometimes the separations are messed up and, where they want you to put the septic system conflicts where the well is now, then you have to change that. What other expenses it would be, like, just, rough grade seeding would be covered. If you needed to change the interior piping in the house because it's coming out a different spot, that would be covered. And that's about it.
I think the place where it would go is pretty well set. And the well already, when the neighbours put their system in, I think Matt did a layout for all the wells in the neighbourhood. It's
Right.
really tight there. We're already, I think, 85 feet from, it's the best that anyone could do. And
Right.
Basically,
I mean, it's the best fit that you can do, is really what.
I'd like to put a well basically where it is now, except not a driven one, a drilled one.
is this a case for a pressurized drain field?
I said
You-
I'd consider it.
Well, if you did consider it, there would be an additional $5,000.
Right.
Yeah, I do have a nice, large-sized
I
lawn.
mean, that area where you are is the best, that's where you get the biggest bang for the buck for a pressurized shallow drain field. Because obviously, you're so close to water, the more stuff you have in between, the better it is. And the less deep you go, the better it is.
So I'm not quite understand how the project goes ahead. I mean, is it Matt that submits the plans or?
Do you have your health department permit yet, or are they just asking you about the grant, what you're doing?
Do I have a failing system, they ask? And if I don't, it's a long wait.
I presume that you do have a failing system then.
to-
I presume you would because of what you're saying, because you've had the house for how many years?
26.
And
And it was built in,
And when you bought the house, you took the existing septic with the house as it came.
Yeah,
right,
You never had
so
it pumped.
it was,
never had it pumped.
the house is older than 1972.
Yeah,
So more than likely, it is some sort of block pool, which under the definition from the Suffolk County Health Department is a failing pool.
okay, well, I was planning to get Gene in or somebody to pump it, since it's never been pumped. And at that time, see what it is. But it sounds like you're saying, why don't I just,
Well, we can't, don't.
We can't say that for sure, but,
You need to have someone check it. He can have someone look it over.
Does Suffolk County usually come to the house before all of this to check whether it's failing?
No.
You can ask Meg, but usually you can pay someone to come. Yeah,
Meg, do you,
doesn't Shepherd do that?
The engineer needs to submit, the engineer or an inspector needs to submit photographic proof of what the system is made out of with the house in the background, demonstrating that it's substandard or failing. So you'd have to have someone dig it up, open it up, take pictures of what you have as your system, and submit that to the county with a letter certifying what they're seeing, and the county would consider that proof of failure if it is failing.
That's what that letter says, yeah.
So that's the next step, right?
So that would be the next step, and then picking a contractor probably.
Yeah. So, and I have to pay for it up front, and
Well, it depends.
And the grants.
Some people, some of the contractors get, you know, if they earmark the payment to go straight to them, they'll wait. Sometimes they get paid up front.
I mean, I could cover it, I'm just saying.
Right.
It gets paid for first before the
You
grant.
can get paid for it first. You know, you just can't, unless it's deemed failing, like in an emergency basis, you know, you can't just put it in and retroactively get the money.
Yeah,
But, you know, it sounds like Suffolk County's on top of it, you know, because, you know, they're questioning you about it.
okay,
So,
okay, I get that, so.
I guess your consideration at this point would be to, at least to let us know if you're gonna put a pressurized shallow drain field in. You know, we could approve this application for $12,000 as it sits, you know, for now, and if you
There's
decide
also-
that you're gonna put it in as the design progresses, you'd have to just let us
There's also,
know.
Russell, if on our website, on the WQI website, at the very bottom, there are low-interest loans. If for some reason you did want to look into a loan to put up some of the money in the front. It's right at the very bottom of our website, WQI. Just go to townshelterisland.gov and go to WQI and you'll see it.
So 12,000 plus 5 for shallow,
For the shallow drain, pressurized shallow drain, and 4 for a well if it's mandated by Suffolk County. Or the engineer
So,
determines that.
If you don't have, if you haven't applied to the county yet, with, you know, submitting the plan, you know, drawn by whoever, they may come back to you and say that you might need to move the well. I don't know that, but, you know, if they haven't said, you know, made any disposition about this, you know, or seen your plan, then you could be possibly on the hook for that. So we would recommend now, when we make this motion, that we include the $4,000 for the well.
right. Okay, so I'll,
But this is all contingent on him hiring the engineer and he's getting this
Right.
things together yet.
I did get an email from Matt asking what was going on, and I said, I haven't heard from anybody, so.
Well, now you know. So we haven't done this yet, but I think that we're more or less in agreement that we were in agreement before. We were just waiting for the more information about, you know, the income incentive.
Now, you remember when you came in the first time.
And it kind of fell through the cracks. I
Because you were
think.
you were thinking about building extra space for your daughter and grandkids, but you wanted to wait.
I
And you
got-
wanted to do this first, I
I've
remember.
got big pressure from
Yeah.
now, because it's basically, I call it a 2-room shack. So when they're there for the summer, it's tough. So, but if I gotta wait, I gotta live with them for 3 years before I can make space for that.
Correct.
That's right.
You're not gonna give me time served for the 2 years I just spent.
We can't really.
But you did better money-wise.
Yeah.
Anyway,
That's true.
would you like to make a motion, one of you?
Sure. I make a motion for a potential, you're gonna count the pressurized drain field?
No, I mean, that can be an amendment if Russell decides to do that.
Okay, so 16,000 with 4,000 set aside for possible well movement to Mr. Sewell at,
No,
Glover.
Mr. Glover.
oh, Glover, I'm sorry, at
It's the addresses that are.
at 20 Winthrop Road,
20E.
20E Winthrop Road.
And is Jean Shepherd okay to do the inspection?
He would do the grunt work part of it, but he would need to get Matt or somebody to sign on, you know, to be there or take pictures and send them to Matt or whatever. So that Matt can, you know, it needs to be Matt's letterhead that says that
It
it's,
could be a good idea when you do the pump out, just coordinate with the two
Right.
individuals, I think, since
I mean, I
they're.
wouldn't, unless there's something bubbling up, I wouldn't do the pump out until you're ready to get that certified, that it's failing.
But anyway, in answer to your thing,
Sooner the better.
I'll second for.
Well, thank you.
Bishop.
Yes.
Is there any further discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right.
Thanks for your help.
Thanks for reminding us.
See you Saturday.
Yeah,
The
Saturday, it's the,
farmer's market.
well, that. But he meant he was gonna go to the Fresh Pond Neighbors Association
Oh, right,
thing
right. I'm
about
going to that.
the Fresh Pond. I think that's what he must have meant.
Yeah, of course, it was business.
That's Saturday?
Saturday, yeah.
Where,
Ram said,
at what time?
I think it's 5 to 7.
There's going to be an update of what's going on? Is that it?
Well, it's a fundraiser.
For the
Oh,
part that they're not funded yet, that they're trying to raise money for themselves.
I see.
Okay. So I don't know how much you talked about commercial grants when Greg was here in my place. But, you know, I'll just say what my feeling about them is. I mean, you have a number of entities on Shelter Island that are, for want of a better word, like a point source, you know, producer of the effluent, you know, not dissimilar to the school. But, you know, these restaurants, especially near the water, they go through, you know, quite a bit of water every day. You know, like Sunset Beach, I know, you know, if my experience from
Yeah.
the Ram's Head is any indication, you know, it's like 4,000 gallons a day, maybe, you know, of water usage. Not all of it goes into the septic system, but, you know, and they might use more because they're so sort of crazy in there. You know, so they're, you know, it's a lot of stuff being recharged into the ground there, you know, untreated. The Pridwin and Pearlman, you know, Pearlman hasn't put it in yet, I don't believe, but they both, you know, in their renovation plans have to put it.
Right. Fridwin did.
The Pridwin did already. But then you move down the road and you have Quinnipiac. You know, I don't know if you get, I mean, they have multiple septic systems there, I know that. But maybe to get the dining hall or something on it, you know, would be a start. You know, these are places that, you know, just make a lot, you know, then you have the Ram's Head is right there. They, you know,
Yeah.
they're putting a lot down into, you know, maybe part of it goes into the lens that's under Big Ram Island, which I believe is different than the lens under Shelter Island, the proper. And you have the Deering Harbor Co-op, you know, which again has multiple systems.
Kind of like Bridge Street.
Bridge Street, then you have, you know, in this area, you have Kings and Cards cabins that are in the lens of, you know, our biggest area of freshwater reservoir, if you will. That probably would be a benefit to get them onto, you know, a denitrifying system of some sort. So, you know, while there is no grant from the county or state for this, I know East Hampton has done grants for some commercial projects. And I don't know why we shouldn't consider it. I mean, there might be some reasons, but my thought would be, it would be great to, you know, make it, you know, this would be a bigger bang for the buck, you know, to try to get these places that use a lot more water and make a lot more effluent, you know, somehow being treated.
If you speak to East Hampton, do you know, is there a fixed number, or how do they generally, do you know?
I don't, I think it's not like, you know, the residential ones. I think it's a case by case basis. You know, and I think they get, you know, applications and they vet each one individually, and, you know, there's not like a streamlined process for them. It would be like a one-off. You know, I could look further into it, but I mean, regardless of what they do, personally, I think it would be a good place to, you know, make a bigger dent.
Is it just to like suggest to them or like do like an outreach or are you thinking?
I would, again, do an outreach to them, you know, say, you know, like,
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
we have to decide, and we have to get input from the town board and whatnot, and maybe the committee of, I don't know, maybe we don't need the committee, that doesn't yet exist or whatever.
Oh, the new committee? Yeah.
I don't know that we need that. Maybe we need like some, you know, some input from the town board to see if they think that it's a good idea. Maybe we should, if we're in agreement, maybe write something, you know,
Sure.
recommend that we begin to consider this.
Could we hold a forum like we did for the associations? Have those businesses come in and.
I mean, I think, let's get some feedback from you guys and, you know, and see if there's a consensus among you that it seems like a good idea, because, you know, we don't want to start doing something that's going to be contentious any more than anything is contentious.
To me, it's a win. You can't go, I mean, you can
To me,
approach.
it would be too, I think.
It's
So,
well worthwhile looking into that.
so I would, see if you guys are in favor of me writing something.
Yeah,
I'm as well.
let's get them in the ground.
All right.
Let's move it along.
And then we need to, you know, then we need the nitty gritty, you know, which would be great input from Tui and Greg, and, you know, about what we think a grant would be. I mean, they're obviously more expensive systems than,
Because they're larger.
they're bigger and more involved and whatnot. And, you know, can, you know, maybe 100,000, maybe 200,000. I know,
Yeah.
you know, for the when we were bidding on the project at Perlman, it was like 500,000. You know, I'm not saying that this board would do that, but, you know, as an incentive, you know, some of these places do have like existing systems that maybe you do plug in the treatment part, and maybe they can still use their leaching fields. But we have to see if the town board is interested in this, and then we can kind of talk amongst ourselves a bit, and then reach out to the entities and see if they have an interest in it. I would hope that they would. You know, it's a hard business, and you know, there would be some out-of-pocket stuff, you know, ultimately. I mean, there's no way that you could probably cover the whole thing, but maybe there are other sources of funding that we're not even thinking about. And then there are these loans, I suppose, right?
Yeah.
So there might be a bunch of things that could be put together that would encourage them to go ahead.
Sounds good to me. So-
All right, I'll write something up, send it out to you guys. You say if it's okay or not, and then we'll send it to
Sure.
the big guys.
Sounds good.
I don't know if there's any update on the formation of this county advisory committee that you might know of.
I don't know. You know, I know Amber's it's been talked about, as she said.
I would think we would have heard if there was.
It wasn't
You know, she's now on the cruise, the Great Loop.
I thought he was stuck in the Hudson.
Oh, he's waiting for Amber, I think.
Oh.
No, he's going up the Hudson and through the Champlain Canal and into the St. Lawrence from there, I think. He was going to go on the Erie, but that's closed. least the middle of it. So I will wait to hear from her. Financials, I don't think anything giant change. Did anything come financial wise? No. I mean, she was in a rush to get out of here, so.
I think we covered old business.
Yeah,
With.
yeah, we certainly hit some old business.
So,
I heard the reach out from Tim Bertel, Green Expo was the 23rd, I think, of
Yeah,
August.
I heard at the Deer and Tick, I think they said it, and I don't remember what it was.
The 16th is a Saturday, so the 23rd would be the next one. So I think it's the 23rd.
August 23rd?
Yep. So we should just keep it in the back of our mind, so that we can split up the efforts. I mean, you're going to be on the other committees as well. and-
Yeah, I'm usually with the Deer and Tick, because it's only me and James that are,
Right.
James B, so.
It all works out because, I mean, we're all like next to each other and the WAC is there and,
We're
we
usually
can,
right across from each other anyway.
yeah, so I mean, I think it's,
I have around.
but we can just think of anything that we want to present. To the
That's
public.
the thing, getting the paperwork,
I usually get Linda to make up some big pictures and stuff like that.
okay.
Put them on the table.
Maybe Fresh Pond would be a good thing to, where
We usually
that's
have-
Well,
at.
we usually have touted that as one of the things.
Oh, okay.
But, I think, the grant looks like it's, one way or the other, it's gonna get covered, the matching part of the grant. So. Pardon me?
Meg has her hand up.
Meg,
I just wanted to confirm that the Green Options or the Green Expo is August 23rd from 11 to 3. And it's going to be in the same location that it was last year, which was down the side of the school along the sidewalk.
that was good.
Yeah, we're going to pull things back from the sidewalk a little bit so people aren't so jammed in, but it seemed like a good location. So we're excited to do it there again.
So are we then. All right, any other new business that anybody would like to bring up?
Yes, I just have a little quick new business. So I had to reach out to Catherine Stark, who is our legislator for
Mhm.
District 1. And I did mention to her about, that we've talked with a lot of residents who are kind of like just, they're frustrated with the process of getting the septic and how long it takes. I mean, we've had applicants come in and talk about this all the time, and we've had people in the queue for a long time. And that it's been kind of unacceptable how long people are gonna wait. So she said that she has tried to address this with the health department and because their response time has been unacceptable, but she is issuing a letter to the commissioner, deputy commissioner, and director of environmental services about Shelter Island as a whole. And she's gonna put some pressure in the form of a letter to kind of highlight Shelter Island and kind of.
She did
pressure
call them,
them
but they
to
never
push.
called her back.
Yeah, probably, yes. They don't call anybody back. So that's the only thing I heard about, is that, so hopefully that, maybe it makes some progress, I don't know, we'll see.
Well, hopefully the new funding stream begins to
Yeah,
kick in, and, things hopefully greases the wheel and things move a little faster. But, truly, people do get frustrated and, I don't know. I had reached out to Doug Sherrod
Yeah.
about, I hadn't heard back from him regarding the Silver Beach,
yeah, I think it's gonna be
Proposal.
on hold.
It is?
It's gonna be on hold for a little bit. I think they'd like to see how things work out this summer with the North Brander Pond.
Right.
And see where things lie at the end of the season, and so I don't think they're gonna be,
Do they
they're not gonna be
anticipate-
submitting
and-
anything.
Expect it'll be improving?
I don't know, it looks,
What do they
I don't know.
expect?
I just know that
It
we're
looks
gonna
like
put it on hold, we're gonna put it on hold.
it looks like there's a lot of growth in there right now.
Yeah,
Right, I mean,
that's probably why you didn't, because he passed it off to the
two authors of the original proposal, which was Sean and Pete
Right.
Dandridge, and it was put on hold for now, is what last I heard. So
Good. I don't see it getting any better.
that's all I got on that.
But they do have to come up with a design or something, because.
Right, I mean,
That's why they put it on hold for now.
they had the proposal, but it's sent out to PEP, I think.
Huh?
There was
Pete Dandridge? Oh, no, to the PEP, it was the PEP, I think, or something.
you know, Peconic Estuary.
Yeah.
You know, I thought they sent something to them to try to get some kind of money. And so I saw a copy of that, and it was a pretty involved thing, you know,
Yeah.
you know, but I said it needed to be retweaked to come to us.
Yeah, somebody has to come and make a presentation.
No, the whole,
No, it
they
needs
know
a
that.
ton of scientific work it needs.
Yeah. Yeah,
And how it will affect the water quality is really what we have to,
Mhm.
I mean, theoretically, it should affect the water quality a little bit in West Neck, but, you know, it certainly would affect the water quality in that thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, if there be nothing else, I would ask for a motion to adjourn.
Yes, I'll make the motion that we should adjourn the meeting.
second.
Second.
Both second.
Yeah. No, I meant like looking at her second.
I'm in favor of that.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Thank you, folks.